Hey, it's Indie 1023, Alisha Sweeney with you, and my guest is Anna Burch. Her sophomore album, If You're Dreaming, is out on Polyvinyl Records, and she is on a Zoom call with me right now from her home in Detroit. Hi, Anna.
Hey, how's it going, Alicia?
I'm doing good. How's life in quarantine in Detroit, Michigan for you?
Oh, it's a dream. It's okay. Hanging in there. Yeah, it's a beautiful day out here. You said it was a beautiful day in Denver as well.
Yeah.
So, hopefully I'll get outside and enjoy a nice social distanced walk. But yeah, other than that, just hanging in.
Yeah. What's it like being a musician that put out an album in the time of quarantine?
It's weird, especially because my record release tour was postponed, and so every now and then I'll like check the old tour dates to see like where I would be. And I think right now I'd be in Vancouver. I'm not quite sure on that, but I've never been to Vancouver before, so
Mm.
thinking about that makes me a little bit sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's an okay time to have a record that people can listen to, because people are looking for things to kind of like escape from the dreary day to day of being like just stuck inside. So yeah, I mean, I think that's okay. Like I've gotten some good feedback about the record, um, feeling like yeah, a tiny positive impact on some people's days, I guess. So that feels good. But other than that, not being able to do the kind of like typical album cycle thing of like getting on the road and kind of being able to interact with people personally and have that kind of exchange feels, yeah, a little sad.
Yeah, your song Can't Sleep has been big for me right now because my sleep schedule is totally off right now. So, anyways, I sort of warble along with you when I listen to that one
Aw,
on your new album.
sweet.
So, what's a typical day look like? You said hopefully getting outside. What is a quarantine day like for Anna Burch?
I've been sleeping really late, like really late. I think yesterday I woke up at like maybe 2 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, I stay up pretty late too, I guess. Kind of just like watching a lot of movies. I've been enjoying movies that I really never thought I'd get into. Like I've been watching more like action or sci-fi movies. I watched Terminator for the first time last night, and that was pretty enjoyable. Been watching some like John Carpenter movies, and yeah, just I think like things that I didn't find enjoyable, I now find like really entertaining. Like I'm looking for more of an impact in my entertainment, I guess. So there's that. I'm cooking a little bit, made a nice sweet potato curry last night, but I'm not getting like super into the baking or productive stuff. I kind of just like bum around on my phone and annoy my cat, and that's about it.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Are you gonna watch Terminator Part 2?
Yeah, I think I'll do the whole, it's a trilogy, right?
Yeah, T3 and T2.
T3, totally. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I watched the whole Aliens trilogy. That was pretty cool.
Uh-huh. And then speaking, I watched that John Carpenter film about people being like whitewashed. I can't think, I'm trying to think of the name of it. Anyways,
They
I've been
live?
watching. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They live.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That
Yeah.
is good. So, what was your last gig like, and when was it? When did you last play music?
Oh man, it's been a while because I was sort of laying low leading up to this album. So yeah, I mean, I got off tour for my first album, Quit the Curse, in fall of um, when was that? 2019?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 2018. I don't even remember. Oh my gosh, I'm like my brain is so fried. But anyway, so yeah, I spent basically a year recording. I wrote and recorded this recent record and about a year ago. So yeah, have been kind of waiting. I've basically been self-isolating like my career wise, just kind of like working on the creative side of things and then gearing up for the promotional side of things. So yeah, it's weird. It's weird that like I was resting up to be able to go out and do this big exhausting thing, and now I'm like still resting. So it's
Yeah.
odd. But my last show I think was in Detroit, I had like a friend who came to town playing a show. She was on tour, and she asked if we would jump on the bill with her. Amy O from Bloomington, Indiana. So yeah, we jumped on that show with her in Detroit, and yeah, it was kind of just like a fun, low key night. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You've been doing some these live stream interviews and performances, kind of like we are taping an interview, doing an interview right now. And you've been taking questions from fans. Any good questions come in from fans that made you think?
Well, recently I did, I took romantic
I
questions
saw
from
that.
fans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I did
what's
like a
this
little
all
love
about?
line advice column live. Yeah, I guess I kind of started getting a little sick of just playing on my acoustic guitar in front of my phone. I don't know. I think some people are really loving that way of connecting with people, but I started to feel a little bit bored with it, and like I don't know, it just makes me a little sad, I think, because
Mm-hmm.
it just makes me think this is such a sadder way of performing for people, like the sound issues, and I don't know. So anyway, I just decided that I wanted to do something a little more creative to engage with fans, so I took their questions about their love lives and stuff. So yeah, I had fun with it. I hope I didn't hurt anyone's feelings or anything with like tough love, but there were a few that were kind of intense. Like someone said that they were looking to break up with their partner of like I think 3 years or something, like during quarantine. So that was
What was your
intense.
advice?
Well, actually, they said that they were quarantining apart. So my advice was basically like, this seems like the best opportunity actually, because you don't have to do the whole face-to-face thing. This is like one of the occasions where it's actually appropriate to do a breakup over the phone. So you kind of lucked out.
Yeah, I'm gonna be reaching out to you if I ever need any advice.
I'm here.
So let's talk this new album. It's out now. It's called If You're Dreaming, and you teamed up with Sam Evian to record this album. You went to the Catskill Mountains in upstate New York. What was this experience like for you? And by the way, such a fan of him as a musician as well.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's musically so talented and then just a really great person. So yeah, it was really such a nice environment. I mean, their place is just like very relaxing, and they like their properties on like a stream, and it was at the beginning of spring, so every day things would kind of pop a little more. And when we first got there, it was like pretty gray and brown and the trees were bare, and then by the end of the 2 weeks there were like buds on all the trees, and like the big yellow forsythias were blooming. And yeah, it was cool. It was kind of like a nice metaphor for like making the record, coming in and like just having these bare bone demos, and then every day kind of like adding to the sounds. And yeah, so I kind of like that little parallel with nature blooming. But yeah, it was really an incredible experience, and something that I'll carry with me forever. It was one of the most rewarding, like creative experiences I've had. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Nature blooming and songs blooming. So
Hmm.
I have a question for you. So typically, like someone's debut album is their life from everything from the beginning until up to that point. So with this sophomore record and kind of thinking about some of the themes on this isolation and longing and everything, was that what was happening with you in your life since you put out your debut, or how do you look at that?
Well, I think there's a bit of overlap between writing those songs and finishing the first album. So it wasn't like necessarily a clean slate, like this is post Quit the Curse. It was kind of like because it took such a long time to get Quit the Curse together, and I recorded it like with friends at different apartments, it kept kind of changing hands a little bit. And yeah, so some of the songs, about half of the songs I wrote while I was still working on Quit the Curse. And then the other half I wrote when I got off the road from touring Quit the Curse. And it's actually kind of split almost down the middle in terms of like the first half of the record being written before, and then the second half of the record being written after. So I think it has like a nice sense of like chronology, and that's kind of what I wanted for the end to feel somewhat resolved. So yeah.
Yeah, what do you want? What do you want your fans to get out of this album?
Well, I guess right now I hope that it provides some sort of like solace. I think thematically it does sort of weirdly fit into a life of kind of like isolating. There
Yeah.
are, as you said, themes of isolation and longing, and I think even more now I'm like appreciating how much we need human connection, and I think that was something that I was working through when I was writing, just like kind of like the importance of connection, but like the sort of obstacle of feeling alienated and isolated. And I think like we as a society, like in the Western world, have kind of been increasingly like going in that direction of isolation, you know. And now more than ever, it's like a very stark realization that like we are like very much physically isolated from each other. So
Hmm.
yeah, I hope that the hope that I kind of I think by the end of the record there is a sense of like hope and like an understanding of what it means to kind of like be close to someone, and to kind of, I don't know, just feel comfortable in a relationship, where you're not kind of like at this like point of endless desire, you know, like where you just kind of feel like happy to be close to someone, even though, you know, you can never like perfectly understand any person. So
Yeah.
yeah, I hope that it gives people a sense of kind of like hope, and realization that like, yeah, the people in your life can really keep you grounded, and you know, just sort of like give you a sense of self.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that emotional arc in your album for sure. So the song, the single "Party's Over," we've been playing that on the radio. I love that line, like, "Do we have to go? Could we just stay home?" And then like, how perfect is that? Like predicting things
Yeah,
now.
it's
That means
almost a little too much dramatic irony to take.
I love the music video for that one. I feel like it starts off with like some 70s film vibes
Yeah,
and everything. Did you come up with the concept for that?
I did. Yeah, I came up with the concepts for all three of my music videos actually. Yeah, I actually studied film in college and in grad school. Not film production, but like film history and
Mhm.
theory and stuff. So yeah, I feel like I have a lot of reference points swimming around in my brain, and it's a fun way to kind of like express a different side of my creative brain, I guess.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because each video is so cinematic and has, I feel like, from what I can glean, some film references from different tropes and stuff, like you said in those three music videos. So you enjoy making them, it sounds like.
I do, yeah, and I work on all three of these videos. I worked solely with my good friend Ben Collins. He's in a band called Mini Horse, and he's like super super talented guy. So he kind of handles the production side of things, the technological side of things. But we work like really closely. So like he edits everything, but I'm like, you know, over his shoulder, kind of like, yeah, yeah, you know. So yeah, we're like a good dual brain of like I mean, he's also a very creative person, but you know, for my project, I'm kind of a little controlling, I guess, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. But Ben and I work really well together, so
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense. I mean, you want your aesthetic to shine through and you want the purpose of your songs and everything. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, what's it like for you to be personally creative during a pandemic?
It's not going super well. Yeah, I guess so, every now and then I think maybe a few days ago I'm weirdly, this may sound annoying, but like one of the new agey things about me is that I feel like tuned into the moon cycles a little bit. So with the new moon, and it might be a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know, thinking about like the new moon, it's a new, you know, cycle beginning. So I felt like a little bit inspired, but I sat down and I felt like I had some good ideas, but I just really couldn't focus. And yeah, I just feel so restless. I feel at the same time like kind of lethargic and restless. So it's not the best mindset, I think, to like be creatively productive. So trying to harness like those little spurts when I can, but I'm not, I'm don't expect anything like prolific. I'm not writing LP3 during quarantine right now.
Ah, gotcha. So you said you're watching films a lot, that you're not super incredibly inspired. What about musically, or inspired to write LP3? But what
Mhm.
about musically? Are you listening to right now to get you through things?
Um, I'm I'm not really listening to any contemporary music. I don't know why. I think my brain has been like reverting. I've kind of been fixating on my own past, and then so I think it's also sending me in this kind of like nostalgic loop. So I've been like listening to a lot of like older music. I made like a little like quarantine playlist. Let's see what's on there. I've got some like Yellow Tango, John Lennon, Randy Newman, Kate Bush, The Clientele, Fred Neil, Bob Dylan, Lucinda Williams, the Walker Brothers, John Cale. So yeah, mostly like not contemporary stuff. And I'm just listening to a lot of podcasts, I guess. But
Oh,
yeah, I don't know, for whatever reason, like I think because the future feels really tenuous, especially like the idea of like touring and what my career is going to look like. Like not to get too heady, but I feel like I need to kind of like compartmentalize, and so I think in a way I'm stunting that part of my brain right now and like just sort of lapsing into yeah, kind of like nostalgia, I guess.
yeah. Your playlist sounds awesome. I'm a huge fan of like Clientele and Yola Tango. And
Cool.
yeah. So you mentioned the future. So there are some rescheduled tour dates. Like you said, you were supposed to be on the road right now with a
Mhm.
date coming through Denver. So now it's been postponed ish till
Mhm.
August 16th. You would play at the High Dive here. Like,
Yeah.
what would you place your bets on? Like, that
I don't
actually happening?
know. It's so hard because I feel like I'm not supposed to say that I don't know if it's going to happen because I want people to buy tickets, and like I'm sure the promoters and my booking
Yeah.
agent would want me to just be like, "Yeah, it's happening August, get ready." But I mean, I think of course we're all wondering what this year is going to look like in terms of like gatherings. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not playing big theaters, so who knows, but I don't know. It feels like weird to place my bets on it. So I'll just say that I hope it happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I also like want people to be safe. So we'll cross that bridge when we're forced to.
Yeah, I hope it happens for you too.
Yeah.
So just a couple more for you before we say goodbye today. Do you have like a hand washing song that you sing? So you make sure
Um,
you're 20 to 30 seconds in.
I don't. I know you're supposed to. Yeah, I don't. Do you?
Um, I mean, I go classic. I sing ABC real slow.
Does it drive you crazy?
A little bit, but I'm trying to like be like, I am a role model. I am doing my due diligence. I am
Yeah,
clean.
totally.
Oh,
I'll wash my hands normally and then I'll like step away from the sink and then I'll be like, nope, all right, and then I'll wash them again.
do it a little bit longer.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I could probably do it longer. But like, I'm also wearing gloves in public whenever I go outside. If I'm just going for a walk and I'm not touching anything, I just kind of keep my hands in my coat pockets. But if I'm like, going to the liquor store or something, I'll put on gloves and yeah. So I feel like I don't know. I'm not getting like so obsessive about the hand washing because I'm trying to take other steps.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, but
yeah.
no hand
And
wash song.
what do you miss about like everyday pre-quarantine life?
Um, I think it's mostly like seeing friends.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me right now because my little brother just had a baby a few months ago, and he and his wife moved back to Michigan, like right as the quarantine thing was happening. It was kind of stressful for them and for our whole family, just being like, oh my gosh, like we want you to make it safe and come home, but like it was scary. But anyway, I still haven't met my niece, so that's been really tough. Like my family sending me pictures of her, and I got some pictures today of like pictures of me when I was a baby, and everyone thinks she looks like I did when I was a baby. So yeah, I don't know. I'm like getting kind of sentimental about that, and like I just really want to hold my niece, and I don't know, hopefully soon.
I hope that happens soon for you
Yeah,
too.
thank you.
Yeah. Congratulations on the new album. It's called If You're Dreaming on Polyvinyl Records, which what a cool label to be on.
Yeah, they're the best.
And thank you so much, Anna.
Yeah, thanks, Alisha. I hope you enjoy the sun today.
Thank you.